is it. The Cougs have taken the lead. This place is going to pop off.
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
This one is swung on and crushed. Back to the scoreboard. It is long gone.
U.S. Bank. Life keeps moving. We're here for every step. U.S. Bank. Member FDIC. Tonight's show is also brought to you by Zeppos, the home for the Cougar Coaches Show, where the Palouse comes to play and eat.
Pitch swung on and missed. Throw to third is in time. It's an inning-ending strike him out, throw him out, double play.
Now let's talk Cougar baseball with Cougar head coach Brian Green. Here's the voice of the Cougs, Matt Chazanow.
Back here live at Zeppos. Great to be with you. It is that time of the week as the Cougar Baseball Show. There you go. We got the skipper on here, BG, as we get set for this week's series against the UCLA Bruins. It's our first time to really get a little expanded window to talk baseball here at Zeppos. Skip, how you doing, buddy? Great to see you.
I'm doing great. Fresh off the practice field, so yeah, fired up to be here though.
Yeah, it's great to be here. It's great to see some familiar faces
thanks
here
to the
at
fans.
Zeppos.
That was quite an entry there, so thanks very much.
Yeah,
Go Cougs.
There was a pre-airtime round of applause.
That was great.
For Skip here at Zeppos. I want to start at the start of the year because we haven't had a chance to have a little long-form discussion. We've had 3, 4, 5 minutes here or there pregame, but what a start to this season. You're in the thick of the standings now. We'll talk about it. You're in a little bit of a skid right now. We don't need to, glaze over what's going on. We'll talk about it all, but let's start at the start. Let's start at the beginning. You start out white hot this year.
We started out white hot. We started off pitching really well, playing good defense. The team is a really fun team to coach for the fans. 9 more home games this year, and excited to bust those things out with a Week 3 home series, and as well as a game tomorrow against Linfield and Dan Spencer, who used to coach here, and with the Bruins obviously coming in this weekend. But no, we came out with a record-setting start. And we did it with a lot of players, a mix and match of left and right with our team, both on the mound and at the plate. And this is the deepest team that we've had. And we like our guys. They play hard. They love the Cougs. They love playing for the Cougs. And they're a fun team to coach. So it's hard to scream at them, even though sometimes they need it. And, we needed it last weekend. But, no, off to a great start. I don't know, 14-9, I think we currently sit. We're in the middle of the pack. As we enter into Week 4. But this is a good team, and it's a team that's going to play hard, and they're not going to lay off the pedal. And, this was our first bump in the road over the weekend, and you're going to get those, and those are things that we talk about, Chaz, just in terms of you're going to get punched in the mouth. You're going to have a skid, and you just got to be able to sustain it. And how do you sustain that? Typically, it's through locker room culture and the guys liking each other and wanting to play hard. And these guys like each other, and they play hard, and they really respect the uniform that they wear.
No, it's baseball. I mean, that's pack baseball. It's part of the deal. You can look at the standings and see all the other teams. You're right there. It's really actually kind of a logjam in the middle. We'll talk about in a second. But you start off 4-0. You're in Peoria. You beat up Riverside 17-4 in the second game. That was an eye popper. You go through and then you score 22 against Villanova. I wasn't sure what to make of the Wildcats. And not a national power, But then you go to the Tony Gwynn Classic, and you win 3 or 4 against Irvine. I should say San Diego State, UNLV, and UNLV's picked to win the Mountain West this year. San Diego State's rather picked to win the Mountain West this year, I think. And it was like, okay, this feels serious now.
Yeah, that was a good tournament for us, just in terms of when we put the schedule together. It was okay. We're going to go down to Arizona and hopefully play really well coming out of the snow. But we really had really eyeballed Week 2 with regards to Irvine, San Diego State, Vegas, and UC San Diego, who's actually leading the Big West right now. Thank you. And but good competition. We go 3-1 on the road, so it's 7-1 to start the year on the road. Against Irvine, was an Omaha sleeper with D1 baseball. San Diego State has got the best talent. Vegas was picked to win it, and UC San Diego is currently in first place, which we had a come from behind win. So we were very excited about the start. We were very excited about the competition that we had, and then we were able to get a home series, in Week 3. A little cold. It's a little chilly, but
I feel like that's an understatement. Yeah,
it was maybe an
March 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah, we rolled the dice, but we brought a team up from Southern Indiana, and we were able to get 3 games in at homes, which was great.
You go to Corvallis then, and you make a statement. And it's the first series win there since 2009, and you beat the Beavers up on Saturday and Sunday. You beat them by 3, and then you beat them by 2 pitching. was what came to the table there. You had a really good set of bullpen performances. Wilford, I think, was National Pitcher of the Year. National Pitcher of the Year.
National Pitcher of the Week, and then obviously Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week. But
of the week, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you go down to Corvallis, tough place to play. First time since 2009 that we did that.
Yeah.
We had really let our guys know that, hey, 2009, it hasn't happened since then. So, with all of the series and all of the weekends and all of the seasons that we've had, we've really talked about crossing the line as a program. And here's our first opportunity to do it. Playing down in Oregon State is probably the hardest place to play in the league on the road.
So? Yeah.
It's an SEC environment. They pack it in. They RV it. They tailgate it. They sell it out. I think they've sold out the entire season. So to go down there and do that, especially losing on a Friday, and then to come back and win Saturday, Sunday with pitching and defense. Our pitching, obviously, it's been a little bit of a funk, the last 5-6 games, but our pitching has really carried us this year. It's been the strength of our team has been the pitching and the length of the pitching. The offense has been quality, but it's really been about pitching, and that's where you see the improvement in our program is getting longer pitching. And, we've been here 2-3 years now, and, we've had 5-6 guys that are maybe go-to guys, and now all of a sudden that list is like 7, 8, maybe 9. We've used a solid 10 guys, and that's why I think you're seeing as a fan, the results on the field. The pitching's just been better. It's been longer. We tired them out a little bit, and they were a little bit fatigued come San Francisco and Oregon, and we've got to get back to lengthening that out a little bit. Hopefully we can get some rest tomorrow in the Wednesday game against Linfield and save some of those guys so they can come in fresh against the Bruins.
You think that's maybe part of the issue here? You won the Friday against the Ducks. You really bullied Oregon, won 7-1. It was a physical game in a lot of ways from the mound, right? Wilford and Bond are big guys out there that are challenging in the zone. You're first or second in the pack in strikeouts as a team, so you're really going after guys. And then it's been a bit of a tough skid since then. Do you think it's a little bit of bullpen fatigue, or what's going on?
Yeah, we hadn't been hitting the mouth all year, and with the Oregon games, I think we've got a 6-run lead and a 5-run lead, mind you, early. Yeah. But we still have it, and those guys they just weren't as fresh. And next thing you know, here's Gonzaga, and we get behind big. We competed really well, but we had too big of a lead there. We were down too big, and then you go to SC, and now you're wobbling a little bit, and that's just baseball. And all of a sudden, your pitching's been great. Now the hitting starts to press, and it's just that classic baseball stuff. So we're trying to get back into that micro mentality where it's just process-driven. And when you're having success, it's very easy to be process-driven. And when you're not having success, you tend to look in the rearview mirror or even looking ahead. And that's currently where we are. So we're really just really trying to hammer getting back into the process one pitch at a time. But more importantly, playing innings and not the scoreboard. And I think we got into a little bit of a funk. We're playing the scoreboard. We're ranked first for the first time in a decade, and we had the first time since I've been here that we had the adversity or dealing with success, and that's a real thing. And all of a sudden you're going from the chip on your shoulder and the program that nobody expects to win to you're number 20 in the country, and now you're not supposed to lose. And those are real emotions that you have to deal with, and we have to deal with as a staff. So we're right in the middle of trying to get our guys right now.
Different kind of pressure.
Yeah, way different. And, I remember being at UCLA, we were the number 1 team in the country preseason. I didn't know how to walk. That was an entirely new experience. So it was new for our guys, and we had a really good game against USC. We didn't win. And in baseball, Chaz, as you know, you're gonna play really well and lose.
Yeah.
You're gonna play bad and win. We played a really good baseball game on Sunday. The process was great, and we couldn't stop them. We'd score, we couldn't stop them. So excited about where we're going, excited about tomorrow to have a midweek at home, and then with the Bruins coming in who lost a tough series over the weekend.
It is funny that way. You can hit the ball hard, but right at somebody, right? You can bloop them out there in the shallow center, and you get a double out of it because of a misplayed ball or whatever. So you can actually play really well. It's why you need that larger cumulative aggregate.
You do, and the SC game on Sunday, we come out and we hit 3 line drive rods, and all 3 guys went and sat down in the dugout, and we're 0 for 3, and the coaches are going, great process, but they're going, well, I'm 0 for 3, coach, so what do you know? But those are the things that we try to hammer every day.
Hey, Washington State University would like to thank Crimson and Gray for their continued support of Coug Athletics. Head to bookstore.com to get the latest in Coug apparel. That's BKSTR.com. We'll take a break. We're up against it. We just went through the schedule a little bit. We'll continue live here with Coach Green. Here we're at Zeppo's. It's the first show of the year. Cougs take on the Bruins this weekend. Linfield tomorrow.
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late-night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppo's. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppo's.
Boost Collaborative is a proud sponsor of Cougar Baseball and is a proud supporter of people with disabilities on the Palouse. For over 50 years, Boost Collaborative has been here to help families and their toddlers meet developmental milestones. For youth and adults, Boost provides job placement, on-the-job training, and follow-along supports. Now you can play a part in Boost's success through your donations and purchases at Palouse Treasures Thrift Store in Pullman. Boost Collaborative, empowering people with disabilities on the Palouse. Go Cougs!
Your home for Cougar baseball.
He looks up and it's gone. 2-run, 2-out homer.
The Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I think you...
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
This is Cougar baseball.
Looks up, that's long gone. That ball is blasted by McKeon. One hopper to Hainline, glove side, throws to second for one, turn to first, double play.
Join us all conference season as Brian Green and the Cougs look to make more noise in the Pac-12.
Right up the middle, there's a base hit. A 2 RBI single for Matthews.
Follow along all spring on your home for Cougar baseball, the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Here live at Zeppo's. We're talking ball as we've got the skipper, Brian Green, here. We're live for baseball. It's the Linfield tomorrow on Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. UCLA Bruins come in. Dan Spencer, pitching coach here for the Cougs for about 4 years, not long ago, and then went on to be the head man at Linfield. You go back with Coach Spencer. You go back with Spence to your days in Corvallis, don't you?
Yeah, that's why they're here. You know, we called in. It's tough to get home games in Pullman, and the midweeks can be a real challenge. So, 9 more home games on the schedule this year. And when we had this week in between the two LA teams, I called Spence and said, hey, we need a home game. And they're tough to get at times. So I was with Dan Spencer at Oregon State. He's a fantastic human being. And so he said, Coach, we'd be honored to come up there and bring Linfield up to the Cougs. I was like, well, let's do this. So give us a chance to play some other guys, but also to stay sharp in the middle of SC and UCLA. So, yeah, Spence is here. In fact, as I sprinted in here for the start of the show, they were just showing up to practice. So great human being, and glad they're here. It's always fun to coach against people that you really respect and admire.
He was great.
He's a pro.
He's fantastic. He was the head coach at Texas Tech, and he's had a ton of success. We actually have some write-in questions. One of my favorite people. Spence is fantastic. Let's do this. Write-in questions here at Zeppo's. Interesting. What are the benefits and challenges of the transfer portal from a baseball coach's perspective? How has that hit baseball?
Well, it's the transfer portal has changed the game. It's made my job a little bit more of a CEO, corporate executive officer type. Their rosters are constantly changing. What I think the most important thing to answer that question would be, how we value recruiting here. We've got an opportunity with the portal and with NIL to be old. And in Pullman, we would really like to be old as much as we can. I think if you look at our roster and the guys who are really impacting us, Fuchs, Brown, McGee, Jonah, Harvey, these are guys who have had experience at the major, whether it be the Pac-12 level or at the major Division I level. That's really helped us. But the challenges of the portal are, I think it forces you that you have to be a lot more honest, a lot more straightforward. There's potentially a little less development in terms of guys staying through your program 3-4 years. So for us, how that has affected us in the very, very quick terms of recruiting is probably limiting high school recruiting. If we're going to bring in a freshman, they're going to be somebody that we target to play early, and we're going to invest a lot in them. And I think a lot of coaches would tell you that. But it's been a real challenge. It changed overnight recruiting in college baseball, NIL and the transfer portal. But we were very successful with the portal over the summer. I mean, we have 5 players who are major contributors and are potentially our best players right now to complement some of the guys who were really good players in Russell and McKeon and Elijah last year, along with Cresswell. So. And Matthews, but those guys have made a major role, and we really feel like there's potentially a blueprint here in Pullman, and that's about getting Pac-12 players who maybe want a little bit more, and maybe are driven to a little bit more of a family environment and a culture environment in a college town. And we're going to sell that, and so far we're 1 for 1.
Isn't it amazing if I'd asked you, it's 2023, right? It's March 28th, 2023. If I'd asked you March 28th, 2019, what you were going to do to recruit? Completely different answer.
Yeah, 20-man recruiting class, get all Northwest and develop them for 3 years, play them as freshmen, let them roll, and by juniors you've got a real program, or old guys who have been here for 3 years. It's just changed everything, and it's changed the landscape of college athletics.
Yeah, all sports.
All sports.
How much do you talk to other coaches about the challenges and the nuances, shall we say?
Yeah, I think what I just said is a very repeatable.
Yeah, it feels that way.
Yeah, it does. Because if you're a coach, you now have an opportunity, in a sense, to be old. And so you also really want to protect your freshmen who come in and maybe aren't going to get opportunities. You maybe want to protect their careers, or maybe you're a little bit more early to redshirt somebody and push that button on somebody just so they don't have a 3-4 at-bat season and don't play, and now they're a sophomore who didn't get a lot of experience, and all of a sudden they can get lost in the shuffle. So there's a lot more roster management than there was a few years ago, versus the challenge of developmental roster versus maybe we need to shrink that a little bit and make sure that when we bring in a freshman, they're going to be ready to roll.
How different is it for a high school player who's not the cream of the crop, right? Not the kid, very, very good player, but not that super elite player? It must be a very different discussion for that.
It's a very different discussion, and you're looking at 2,000 players in the transfer portal last year in college baseball.
Right?
So yeah. So
is that really the number?
It's actually higher than that.
More than 2,000?
Yeah, it was more than 2,000.
Wow.
So just so if you look at just the landscape of that, it is junior colleges are much stronger than they were 2-3 years ago. You have a lot of good players who there's no room in Division I baseball. You've got a roster cap. It's going to probably go to 40 next year. It was at 40 this year due to COVID, and they gave us another year, and it looks like that's going to stick. But just for the fans, if you think about when we just returned from USC, we've got a travel roster limit for the Pac-12 of 27. So there are still 13 players who are sitting at home who didn't travel with us, and that goes week to week. So you really have to do a good job of your roster management and making sure that you don't get some of those freshmen lost in the weeds.
And it feels like get off my lawn. I walked uphill both ways to say this is bad. It's not. It's just different.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is, and I think it creates a different conversation. Your walk-ons can be different, and I think it's really changed. I really think, Chaz, it just depends on what league you're in, what NIL situation you're talking about, that the finances for players.
Plays into it?
It absolutely plays into it. So if you look at where we are in Pullman, again, we want to be old, but at the same time, you've got to get your kids on the field to develop them. They're not going to develop in practice, so that's something that we've really tried to attack with conversations and with our new recruiting coordinator. And but it is dramatically changed the landscape of what we do, and it happened essentially overnight with COVID.
Inherent in that switch being so quick and frankly abrupt.
Yeah.
This may not be the final resting place for the way that policies are. I don't know that this is where this lands sustainably forever.
No, NIL is
goes,
insane
but,
for the fans. That just it's we're in a sense professional baseball, especially at some of the higher levels, or when I say higher levels, the SEC with the finances, and it's pretty insane what's going on. But I think it really goes back to smaller recruiting classes, and then it goes back to what we want to be about in our brand, and our brand is going to be relationships with our players and truth and honesty and being in the trenches with them.
Now, speaking of which, I've got a press release here from our sports information director, Bill Stevens, because our director of athletics, Pat Chun's going to testify in front of a congressional committee on name, image, and likeness. He's the athletic director representative, so this will be tomorrow at 10:30 Eastern, so 7:30 Pacific. He will be one of 6 witnesses to testify in front of the subcommittee. The others being there's a former player, there's a commissioner of the Patriot League, Jennifer Heppel, and on and on. So it's
a real deal.
In flux, right? This is all the way to Congress as we speak.
And what you just did, that is the landscape of college athletics over the course of the last year is things like that pop, and you go, oh, Okay, let's be ready to veer. And so you've really got to be flexible. And again, I think with the landscape right now, we are trying to attack that with making sure we've got some flexibility with transfer portal, what's going to happen with roster size. So we have made a conscious decision to make sure that we're not bringing in extremely large classes. When we bring in those freshmen, we expect them to play. We want to invest in them. And that's something that we've had to really, really flip on overnight.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't have expected you to say that a congressional decision may have affected your future recruiting classes.
No question.
Just
or state ethics laws for the state of Washington regarding NIL.
Which are different than Florida.
Absolutely.
Or, I don't know, Illinois. I couldn't.
Very different, state to state.
Yeah, really interesting and all in flux. And by the way, we wish Pat the best in not that he needs it.
Oh, we know he'll crush it.
He'll be great. Yeah. But it's not every day you wake up and throw a suit on and go talk to a congressional panel. Are there approaches, another write-in question here at Zeppos, are there approaches to hitting that generally lead to success? I know you're the guy to talk to here about this.
Great question.
Yeah.
We tell our hitters all the time, and I think any college coach would tell you that, but, you've got an opportunity when you step into the box and you get 17 inches of the home plate, and if you want to be a good hitter, you've got to be able to execute 12 inches of those, but you really have to have the opportunity to hit a fastball away, and you've got to have the opportunity to hit a breaking ball on a change and defend yourself. And so from an offensive approach standpoint, I think what's very important when you talk approach with hitters is that you have one, and that your kids understand it. They can spew it out. They know what it is, because hitters they're 18 to 22-year-old kids in college, and they don't have a lot of experience. So we really try to do a couple of things at the plate. But number one is to generally categorize pitchers in terms of, is he a power pitcher, is he a mixer, somebody who might throw a lot of off-speed pitches or pitch maybe not the same type of way that a power pitcher would be, where he just wants to come in and throw fastballs and then strike you out. Maybe somebody wants to get you off balance early, and then a third type of guy might be a specialist. He's working on the same side of the plate, or he's got a different arm angle. But a general offensive approach is to make sure that I can tell the fans that what we try to do, and if you look at statistically what we're doing and why we're having success, is we're doing really well with two strikes. We're taking it hit by pitch. We have a very high on-base percentage in the league. Those are things that lead to scoring runs. So how we try to attack that is to work backwards. Start with a two-strike approach, and if you can do that and be tough with two strikes, we feel that it gives our hitters the opportunity to not swing early and make sure that when you swing, you're swinging aggressively. So that's how we do it. That's how I've always done it. But everything is really about on-base percentage. That's where we drive it. We really don't look at batting average. We look at on-base percentage and OPS, and that's what's going to lead to scoring runs.
Number one in the league in hit by pitch by a good bit right now. You have 48. Yeah. Huskies are second at 41. And you're fourth in the pack in on-base percentage at 400.
And that's got to be the formula, and that requires some toughness, and it requires some mechanical things that you can delay your decision a little bit and have a tighter swing, so you don't have to make early decisions. If you're making early decisions, you've got a chance to prone to be striking out, to strike out a lot. But on-base percentage is where we started back in August, and that. If you're a fan of ours, you expect us to be in the middle or near the top in on-base percentage. It's what we teach and it's what we preach. It leads to scoring runs.
Boost Collaborative, proud partner of Coug Athletics, empowering people with disabilities on the Palouse. Go Cougs. We'll take a break, come back live. Got another write-in question. We'll cover some more bases here, if you will, with Coach Green at Zeppos.
Carbon monoxide detectors save lives because if kerosene, propane, natural gas, or wood isn't burned properly, dangerous carbon monoxide may result, and it can build up indoors without you knowing, as it's invisible and odorless. So protect yourself by installing UHL-approved carbon monoxide detectors. If carbon monoxide is present, the detector will alert everyone to get out of the house, where you can safely call 911 for help. Avista, we just want you to be safe.
There's always time for the drive-thru deal. Because no matter how fast you are at making breakfast, McDonald's is faster.
Nothing fits your morning routine like your favorite breakfast. From a sausage McMuffin to a sausage burrito to those crisp, flaky, fluffy hash browns. Mix and match them every day with buy one, get one for $1. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This is Scott Hatterberg, and you're listening to Cougar Baseball on the Washington State Sports Network.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network, now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
Back at it live here at Zeppo's Talking Ball with the skipper, Brian Green, as we get set for Linfield tomorrow. By the way, that is a 2 o'clock pitch. Thank you. 2:05. Thought it was a little early. 2:05 pitch. And then Bruins Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock, noon. Friday, Saturday, Sunday against UCLA. Order, earn, enjoy. It's that easy to earn free food with My McDonald's Rewards. Get exclusive offers and rack up rewards. Download the app today. Got a write-in question for you here, Coach. Losing's tough. We all know. Which player is the motivational speaker on the team, and what do they do to motivate the team?
Losing's easy. We love to lose, Chaz.
Stop,
no, I'm not kidding. That's a good question.
Yeah.
No, that is a great question. We have a very emotional team. We have some guys but Sam Brown is a very emotional player. Jake Harvey is probably the one who's going to speak when the coaches aren't around. Jay McKeon, our captain, along with Grant Taylor, those guys are the ones that really do it. But Greg Fuchs, I think it's funny. We were talking earlier. But to the fans, the older portal players are the guys that talk the most. They have the most experience. They're the voice of reason. But from an emotional standpoint, to answer that question, it's probably a Jake Harvey or a Sam Brown. And then McKeon's a little bit more the voice of reason. With regards to what I do and getting the guys motivated, we talk about process all the time because that's what the game is. And it's about living in the moment, not looking in the rearview mirror or not looking forward. And it's very hard to do. When things are going well, you are right in the moment. And when things are going poorly, you're looking in the rearview mirror of what we'd like to get back to how it was, or you're worried about the future, whether that's statistically or winning baseball games. But I think the job of the coaching staff is to make sure that we have a clearly defined vision and then we have a clearly defined message on a daily basis and that we stay with that. For me, how do I motivate the kids? I stay positive. We speak process. We teach. When in doubt, our philosophy is very simple, teach. And I just think sometimes when you get into a rut, you can either love your kids or you can bark at them. My style is usually to bark at them because that works for me. When somebody screams at me, I tend to get back into the moment. So there was maybe a little bit of screaming over the weekend at USC, and then there won't be any screaming this week, and we'll get back to work.
It's interesting that some of the older veterans on the team who are new Cougs become leaders almost by default because of their experience. They must bring that experience elsewhere. How's that process go? How long does that take for leaders to emerge when they're veterans but new on campus?
Yeah, I think you got to go through the fall and you hope that you develop. And we have a lot of programs that we work to develop the locker room with Team Elite or with Jerry Lujan, who will be here this weekend. Our kids are going to have a Special Force Green Beret speaking to them. They don't know this yet, but I guess I just blew it.
Wow.
But they'll be hearing from one of those guys on Thursday. But for us, it's about building the locker room up in terms of them liking each other, loving each other, having fun, being able to communicate, being comfortable in the locker room, and we take that very seriously, and that's how you build culture, in our opinion. But and then we really try to just kind of hone in on leadership as we move into the spring. We let it develop. I've made mistakes as a coach where you tag guys as leaders, and sometimes it's just too much for them. I think leadership develops. One of the messages that we had for our program this year was, you guys just be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be in terms of person first, player second. And we'll do the coaching. But what happens is you get into the spring, you find players coming up and evolving and teaching, and it really happens in the dugout. And it just happens that this crew has been a lot of those experienced players, the Harveys, the Browns, the Fuchs, guys who have been in the trenches before and have been at different levels and higher or similar levels, and they've been through it. And you can't do it until you can do it. And then we've got obviously McKeon and Russell here and Taylor, so we got a nice mix.
How intentional are you about team building, or how much does it just happen organically?
No, I'm very intentional about it. I think you have to be as a coach, but at the same time, it is organically going to happen. But you've got to. I believe that you have to do things as a program to, push that forward or make that happen. If you've seen on the videos of me ripping my shirt off, and that'll build a team because everybody's going to come together and laugh at me and just see Skip without his shirt. But those are things that we. Meeting the professor or the inspiring the community, getting out in your uniform in the community, the RV program, the team elite building program. We do personality testing with our players, and those are all things that we just try to kind of illustrate that it's a much bigger thing. It's at the end of the day, it's really about being a good person first. And if you can do that, we've got an opportunity to build a locker room. And if you do that, then you've got a chance to have player first or player second, which is our philosophy, which is person first, player second.
It's warming up outside a little bit. It's getting.
I still had a beanie on, Chaz. I mean, I'm still, New Mexico guy's still soft.
Yeah, it's still March. We'll got a couple more days of the beanie.
Yeah, no, but no, it is warming up. It's better. We can feel our fingers, and hopefully the breaking ball spin will be better at home.
It's time for golf. Coug fans, buy one bucket of range balls, get another bucket of balls for free. But that's not a bad deal. Plus 10% off golf shop merchandise redeemed by mentioning Cougar Baseball at Palouse Ridge Golf Club through June 1st. Remember that. That's good.
Well, I'd love to get out to Palouse.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do it after the season. Probably not during the season.
No. We really got to be winning.
We'll take a break. Come back. Live here with the Skipper, Brian. We'll talk more about that sun coming up, that warm weather, longer days coming up next.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late-night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppo's. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppo's.
You're listening to Cougar Baseball on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Boost Collaborative is a proud sponsor of Cougar Baseball and is a proud supporter of people with disabilities on the Palouse. For over 50 years, Boost Collaborative has been here to help families and their toddlers meet developmental milestones. For youth and adults, Boost provides job placement, on-the-job training, and follow-along supports. Now you can play a part in Boost's success through your donations and purchases at Palouse Treasures Thrift Store in Pullman. Boost Collaborative, empowering people with disabilities on the Palouse. Go Cougs!
This is Cougar Baseball.
Looks up, that's long gone. That ball is blasted by McKeon. One hopper to Hainline, glove side, throws to second for one, turn to first, double play.
Join us all conference season as Brian Green and the Cougs look to make more noise in the Pac-12.
Right up the middle, there's a base hit. A 2 RBI single for Matthews.
Follow along all spring on your home for Cougar Baseball, the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Back here live at Zeppo's talking ball with the skipper, Brian Green, as we get set for Linfield, UCLA, and then you've got BYU coming back here to make a return trip.
Yeah, 5 games really quick, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday before Arizona State on the road. So five-game homestand. Excited about it.
Yeah, for sure. Pack standings as they hold right now, you're right there with the Beavers and Arizona and really Oregon. You guys are all packed in there real tight. It's not a huge gap, and it's early in the year still from the tippy top to the bottom. Arizona State's 5-1, but they played one less series in being 5-1. So TBD on that. And of course, we have the Sun Devils coming up in a couple of weekends. But there's been there hasn't been really enough ball to get any kind of separation for anybody. But it's sort of what you'd think it would be at this point early on in the year. Pretty packed in tight. No one's 9-0. It's not like there's any.
The league's too good.
Yeah.
Everybody's good. Everybody's got a guy. Everybody's got a guy on the weekend. Everybody's competitive, and it's really just that's why we put so much emphasis on culture. And the last 2 years we've been kind of knocking on it. We've been close. At the end of the day, we've had 13 and 12 wins in conference play, and if you're going to go to the tournament, and I don't mean the Pac-12 tournament, but the NC2A tournament to make the regionals, 15 is a maybe and 16 is about a lock. So we've been 3-4 games out of that for the last couple of years, and that's that separator, that's that cross in the line for the program that we're attempting to make. And even through 9 games, at this point, we're in better shape than we've been over the course of the last 2 seasons. So it's just a matter of being consistent. And then, Cougar baseball, if you look over the last 6-7 years, when it gets warm, we play really well. So we have talked about that all along. Can we just do a really good job in March? Can we stay afloat in March? So obviously that was a big weekend in Corvallis. It was a disappointing weekend with the Ducks as we won on Friday and a couple of leads didn't get it. SC played phenomenal this weekend. We played okay, but we've got to get back on track, and that's with all 3 phases of the game playing well and not scoreboard watching, staying in the process and believing in each other and keeping it really micro, not macro.
There are 2 things that you mentioned there, and now not to bring it back macro, but for fan purposes, there's 2 elements. One of them is that warm weather. You were super hot last year. The moment that after the Berkeley game, they got snowed out, which was bizarre because it was middle of the season, really, really late for that. The Cal Bears were here. When it warms up, you won 4 or 5 series late. You got really, really hot.
We did.
That's how it's been the last couple of years. And to your point, trying to get to that 16 win mark, you are ahead of schedule.
We are.
Yeah, and so you're actually closer to that goal than one might think, even though it's this early in the year.
We are, and we've got a much better team. We're much more balanced. We're longer at the plate. We're longer on the mound. Our infield defense has been phenomenal, and you'll never hear me talk about injuries and things like that, but from our end as a coaching perspective, we have played not at full strength, and so there's a lot of positives with that.
Yeah, Harvey's been banged up a little bit.
And he'll be back in there this weekend. He's our best offensive player, and he'll be in there tomorrow. But and Shibley's been in and out with some things, and we had Russell gone for a couple weeks, and Cresswell was gone for a little bit, and so guys have really stepped up. It's got an opportunity for us to potentially strengthen us because we've had 13, 14 guys with real college experience in real meaningful games, so that keeps us very positive. But I think at the end of the day, we're positive because our kids really care. Our kids work hard, they care, they play hard. And if you have that when you go through a scuffle, we're going to be fine. So there's no greater test than probably the best team in the league coming in terms of pitching staff and depth and returning players. Stanford, UCLA are probably the 2 on paper right now that look to be the teams, and we've got the Bruins here. They lost a home series last weekend. They've got Cal State Fullerton today. We've got Linfield tomorrow, and then they'll come in here and they're from L.A. and we're in Pullman, so I hope it is a little bit chilly. We'll take that. We will absolutely take it and love it.
It's always an advantage when it's just a little bit.
We'll take it.
Unseasonably
if we want to get a little 40 and win, that'd be just fine.
Yeah, a little uncomfortable.
I was at UCLA. I remember being here, 15 years ago, and this is really cold.
Like,
and that was May. So, yeah, we'll take it.
Harvey's only played 9 games. You say he's your best offensive player. You've got some really good offensive players. Sam Brown and Cam McGee have both been really, really good with the bats, but you think Harvey's the best of them?
Well, Harvey's just that 22-year-old baseball IQ guy. He can steal a base. He can bunt. You wink at him, and he knows what you're thinking from an offensive standpoint. He's just a very smart player. He's very competitive, and he's a Washington kid, and he's got experience at Oregon State and Cal State Fullerton, so he's been at some baseball IQ schools, but when you look at Brown, you look at McGee. Sammy was a freshman All-American at Portland, and Cam McGee was at Arizona State, and Harvey's been at Oregon State and Fullerton, and there's Fuchs in the middle of it with an on-base percentage. He was at Oregon State, and Jonah's a D3 transfer, and then McKeon's off to a good start again. Russell is a much better player. He's done a great job. Hainline's growing up, and Cresswell's better, and Jacob Morrow, our catcher, one of our catchers, has been outstanding, and he was a UW decommit, so we like our team, and we've got some balance, and we have some options, and there's some other kids that are going to continue to get more opportunity coming here real soon.
I know it's really important to you to go 1 through 9, no breaks. I know that offensively, you want to have an inning where you lead off with your 8-hole hitter and you're ready to go. That's not a gap in your scoring.
Yeah, philosophically for us, it's like, can we create those 9? Can we create length? So we're willing to even, maybe a guy who's scuffling might be at 5 or 6 or 4 or 5. I really like philosophically just not having 5 or 6 guys and then you've got a hole there for 4 where that pitcher can get comfortable and turn it over. So if you look at, like, for your question with a Harvey, he was down in the 9-hole for those times he was playing, and he was bunting. His on-base percentage was crazy. He's stealing bases, and I think we had Hainline down there for a while and Russell down there for a while. We had really great length. When we lost a couple of those players, we lost some of the length. If you look at even the last couple of weeks, we've been a little shorter with the lineup, and even if you're following us closely, McGee's been our best hitter. We dropped him down to the 5 just to create more length in that 9-man lineup. So. Very important for us philosophically. Have length. Make that pitcher work. Every inning is a battle. You don't get 2 hitters and then you relax a little bit. There's always somebody coming at you.
Now, to get into the weeds a little bit, to go deep, because of Harvey's injuries, because of some opportunities guys have been forced to take because you've been a little bit banged up, Brandon Ponce, Max Hartman looked really good against the Zags. He hit a home run. He hit a hard home run to right. Brandon Ponce has been good as well. Limited sample sizes, but you've got depth on the bench.
Yeah, no, Hartman, he'll play tomorrow. He's from Canada. He's an absolute animal. I mean, I think he's got a huge future here. He's a sicko competitor. He's a very intense player, and as a freshman, but he was a guy that we weren't sure about with regards to playing or redshirting to protect him because we really feel like he's got a real future here. And, we activate him, and, he gets his first college hit. Then he goes to Gonzaga, and here's a huge tank and a rod up the middle, but very competitive. You'll see him on the field tomorrow as well, and he's a guy that we're very excited about. Yeah, Ponce, he's plugged some holes.
Yeah, he was good.
Switch hitter from Big Bend, and, he can play third base. And we're very, very fortunate that from a recruiting standpoint that we really – created some length, especially on that infield defense, because we've had some guys go down and we've still been able to play defense. We started off a little rough, which we see, and our defense continues to get better. We're playing pretty good team defense right now.
All right, we'll take a break, come back, we'll go pitching next. We'll talk a little bit about the arms as we are live here at Zeppo's Talking Ball with the skipper, Brian Green.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Another season of women's and men's college sports is underway. Follow your alma mater or favorite team in their pursuit of the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2023 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
This is Ray Hattenberg, and you're listening to Cougar Baseball on the Washington State Sports Network.
There's always time for the drive-thru deal. Because no matter how fast you are at making breakfast, McDonald's is faster.
Nothing fits your morning routine like your favorite breakfast. From a sausage McMuffin to a sausage burrito to those crisp, flaky, fluffy hash browns. Mix and match them every day with buy one, get one for $1. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Do you ever pay attention to overhead power lines? If you're like most people, you don't, but you should. Especially when you're working up on a roof or carrying a ladder outdoors. Kids who climb trees and fly kites and adults with drones need to watch out for power lines too. And on the off chance that you find a downed power line, stay at least 10 feet away and quickly call 911 and Avista. Always pay attention to power lines. It's your best line of defense. Avista, we just want you to be safe.
Back live here at Zeppo's Talking Ball with the skipper, Brian Green. We just kind of worked through the offensive lineup a little bit, some of the some of the injuries that have necessitated some folks to get a little more playing time maybe than expected. How about on the flip side of things? We've got the arms. You had a fantastic Friday starts through the year from Dakota Hawkins. From time to time, he was really good against the Ducks. 10 Ks, 1 walk, got you into the middle innings. Grant Taylor's had his moments. Calber's had his moments. Of course, Grillo's leads the pack in saves. We mentioned Wilford. He was the pack pitcher of the week this year against the Beavers in Corvallis. Bond is big and physical. Wilford big and physical. That's how he does his thing. That's how he did it against the Beavers. There are options. You got Cottrell, a lefty. You got Liss kind of working back into it as a lefty.
Yeah, no, the pitching has been, minus a bump in the road for about a week. Our pitching has been outstanding. I mean, Coach Claggett just does a tremendous job. And, the development of Hawkins from not sure if he's going to be a starter, and then it just becomes 7 days before the opener. It's like he's our most competitive guy. Give him the ball to start it. And then he's like, you're not going to take that away from me. So Hawkins has been outstanding. Calber's been really good. His strikeout to walk is insane. Grant never gets hit. When he's on with his command, he's going to win. And then, but the story of the year for us, really, the difference of why we are where we are, even after a skid at 14-9, is starting off 14-3 or whatever we were, 8, 9, and 10-1, whatever it started was. It's been pitching. We've played good defense. We've been getting on base, scoring runs, but it's been pitching, and really it's been about bullpen, and it's always about bullpen. When our hairs are gray, we probably don't have much bullpen. So if you look at Wilford and you look at Bond and you look at Liss and you look at Grillo, and Cottrell has been pitching well of late, our bullpen has just been really good. So Coach Claggs will talk about that with our pitching staff, but it's like, hey, starters, just give us 2 times through. Give us 2 times through. If you keep going, that's fine. We'll keep taking it into the 6th and the 7th. But you can give us 2 times through the order, get us into the 5th and the 6th. We've got these 4 or 5 guys, and that was the formula. We wore them out a little bit, and that's where you saw a little bit of fatigue and a little bit of dead arm of those guys. So, hopefully we can get them back to being full strength. Liss was out for a few weeks. He's back, and he's hoping to find his groove left on left. Cottrell's been better, so just a much longer staff. And then Ryan Orr has pitched for us as well with some lengthy innings. So we like our pitching staff. It's competitive, and they know what they're doing.
You've got 2 lefties that you can go to in key spots, right? You've got Liss, you've got Cottrell. I don't think I'm missing anybody.
Yeah, and Spencer Jones.
And Jones.
Yeah,
Jones,
he's been tough. He'll get the ball tomorrow. And a late recruit. He's been outstanding, really tough. Did a great job with his body over the break. His velocity jumped over the break. And big physical left-hander, and is a big-time team first guy. The dugout tends to get a little quiet when he goes down the bullpen, so we do miss that. But Spence is a great competitor, and he's been a big part of our staff.
That's a lot of options. There's a lot of chess pieces on the board there.
Yeah.
Situationally, you can bring a lefty in, and then you can do 1-1 if you wanted to. You could bring in a righty and still have another lefty that you could go to, feel really comfortable with.
Yeah, and that's just been something that we really wanted to attack in recruiting, and the coaches did a great job over the summer. I mean, I think Bond and Spencer Jones were both guys that got here like on August 1st, and those are guys real bullpen arms for us, and we got them late. So those are things that when we were talking earlier about portal and NIL and transfer recruiting, those are things that we keep our eye on. There's going to be good players out there because there's just so many because of the portal.
So must be hard to scout it.
It is.
It's just all these 2,000 extra guys that you couldn't even have as an option 3 years ago.
Yeah, the video game has changed as well. Everybody knows everybody. All the coaches, when we come up and talk about our teams, that we comment on what our teams are doing well and not doing well, and that's because the coaches are in the office until 3 a.m. watching video. The way basketball and football does that has moved into the college baseball scene as well. So, everybody has the opportunity to watch everybody on video nonstop, and there's, heat maps and charts and percentages of pitches, so it really becomes an execution game. People know if this guy's a breaking ball guy. People know if this is a fastball guy or a changeup guy or what side of the plate he lives on. So length is really important in this league in terms of left to right and being able to match up, because it's all about matchups.
Yeah, 24 hours in the day, you're coaching your squad. before it was high school, maybe a little bit of JUCO, right? It's just a lot. That's hard to wrap your arms around. With all that information, is there an info overload? Is there a point where it's like, hey?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think for us, we really try to detail or map out what do we need, and when we say what do we need, how does it need to look? For example, if it's pitching, it really needs to be physical. They need to be able to spin it, but they need big hands that they can spin it in cold weather early on in the year. For us, left and right-handed when we got here, we were very right-handed. We weren't very balanced, and we were kind of at the mercy of a matchup. If you had a right-handed slider guy and our lineup was entirely right-handed, we'd have a tough time.
Interesting.
And then if we faced a team who was heavy left-handed and we were heavy right-handed, we'd have a chance to have better success. So those are the areas that we really try to hit, is make sure that we're just left and right on both sides. And then in Pullman, you need to be physical. We need to be big boys here.
It's too cold. It's just part of the deal.
Yeah. No, we need to be physical here, and that's a very important thing. So we really try to target that in recruiting. And one of the things that we're really trying to do a good job of and improve on is our athleticism in terms of our speed. Maybe a week from now we'll surpass last year's stolen base mark. And then toughness we've already surpassed. We're closing in on last year's HBP mark. So toughness and athleticism and balance, those are the things that we really try to target.
Final break. We'll come back, put a bow on it. Live here from Zeppo's with Coach Green next.
Boost Collaborative is a proud sponsor of Cougar Baseball and is a proud supporter of people with disabilities on the Palouse. For over 50 years, Boost Collaborative has been here to help families and their toddlers meet developmental milestones. For youth and adults, Boost provides job placement, on-the-job training, and follow-along supports. Now you can play a part in Boost's success through your donations and purchases at Palouse Treasures Thrift Store in Pullman. Boost Collaborative, empowering people with disabilities on the Palouse. Go Cougs!
Time to redo this basement?
Yeah. A home gym, movie theater, model train utopia.
Or yoga studio?
I'm flexible-ish.
Great. I'll just use the U.S. Bank mobile app so we can plan it out.
Which way are you leaning? Setting a savings goal or applying for a home improvement loan?
I say we look at both options. Right here in the app.
Budget for a really good home gym. We deserve it.
Noted.
Help for today, planning for tomorrow. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
This is Cougar Baseball on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late-night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppo's. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppo's.
Your one stop for all college sports is the Varsity app and the brand new Varsity Network website, thevarsitynetwork.com. Keep up with your favorite teams and the rest of college sports, no matter where you are, with thevarsitynetwork.com. Live and on-demand broadcasts, your favorite college-centric podcasts, with stories and video around college sports and your favorite teams. Be sure to download the Varsity app and check out the brand new Varsity Network website, thevarsitynetwork.com.
Back at it live here at Zeppo's. We're talking ball with the skipper, Brian Green. Cougs take on Linfield tomorrow, 2:05. First pitch, and then UCLA Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then noon for the getaway day for the Bruins. Final segment here when we hear the fight song. Coach, we got 60 seconds when that does pop up. But you go Linfield, UCLA, BYU, and then you go to the Sun. You go to Phoenix, Arizona. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you actually play 5 games real quick. 1 day off, travel day maybe, and then you're right down there to play.
It's on. So our culture, locker room and the culture and the field better be really good, or the next thing you know, you look up and you're in an absolute tailspin. So that's why that culture piece is just so important, particularly in a Power 5 league.
This is the meat of the. This is now we're in it.
This is the meat.
This is it. This is the heart of the deal, because you're 14-9, right? You are tied with the Beavers. Tied with Arizona, the Wildcats, 2 teams that have been powers in this league. You're essentially 1 game out of top 5 in the league.
Yeah.
Essentially, the Huskies are 4-2, so they played 1 less series. They're 16-6. Overall records will shelve right now. Bruins come in 6-3 in the pack, 16-5. What do they show you? What are they really good at this
Typical
year?
Bruins. I thought they were the best team on paper going into the league, and they've got this. If you look at what they have, their experience, they bring back essentially their entire lineup minus their first baseman, and great baseball IQ, but a bunch of guys that were freshmen who played for them essentially all year last year. Very balanced left and right. Maybe have one of the better left-handed hitters in the league. Defensively, they have an outstanding catcher who can really catch and throw defensively. And then, it's a John Savage team. They're going to pitch like crazy, and they're doing that again. And but it's lengthy. It's going to be a great challenge. Their starting pitching is their strength. They certainly have a closer that can do some real harm to you. But we've got to get to those starters. We've got to make them throw pitches, and we've got to do a really good job with an offensive approach of making sure that they don't get to come in and do what they want to do. And with their hitters, we've got to keep them off balance, and we're going to have to work some different sides of the plate, some different pitches that maybe some of our starters aren't comfortable with. But Coach Clagg's, he feels like he's got a really strong plan for the weekend, and it's going to be a great challenge. It's UCLA, and they're one of the better teams in the league, and but let's go at it.
I know it'll be personally fun for you to go up against Spence tomorrow, and then Coach Savage. I know you go way back with Coach Savage.
It's just, he's one of my greatest mentors, and when my dad passed, Coach Savage was the first guy at the funeral. I'll never forget that, and he's a special person in my life, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my opportunity to work for him at UCLA. So he's a good man, and but at the same time, we're going to want to kill each other for at least 3 games.
Is it hard that way? Is it hard to compete against friends like that?
I think we all just understand how hard it is, and we respect it. I think the cool thing is when you're going against a coach, there's just so much respect that, especially in this league, you understand how hard it is, and I think a lot of us understand that it's about how talented is your team, but more importantly, just where is your team that weekend, because you're just so week to week. It's 18 to 22-year-olds, and where are their brains, and are they feeling good or not feeling good, and you're always trying to manipulate that. And at the end of the day, whoever's on the mound is really going to determine everything.
Thank you, Skip. Thanks for this time, buddy.
Go Cougs.
Appreciate you. Go Cougs.
Thanks.
Jared Prank-Guber, our man behind the camera. Jerry Kylo gets us on the air. Andrew Allison back in the U.S. Bank Network studios. To all the folks and friends who are here at Zeppos, thank you for coming. Thank you for your questions. And go Cougs. We'll talk to you.
Thank you, guys. Great crowd. Go Cougs.
Game tomorrow, game this weekend against the Bruins.